Hello everyone, welcome back to the Nigeria in Focus show, a show where we get to discuss topical issues affecting the nation. My name is Bukola, Adimula, and it's a pleasure to be your host again for this episode. Our topic for today is Entrepreneurship in Focus. In today's conversation, we'll be discussing the dynamic world of entrepreneurship in Nigeria. We'll also be exploring the challenges and opportunities that entrepreneurs face in the diverse market. With me today are two guest experts who are going to dissect the landscape of entrepreneurship in Nigeria. Before we dive into the conversation, I'll give my guests the opportunity to introduce themselves.
All right, thank you so much, Bukola, for having me.
Thank you so much.
My name is Godson, Nwankwo. I am an entrepreneur and a youth development practitioner. I'm the founder and creative director of 24 Collections. So 24 Collections is a wardrobe management and clothing company that is focused on solving problems around corporate executives. So we produce wares for corporate executives, people that work in the bank, that doesn't have chance to go on to get their own dresses. And so we'll solve that problem for them and manage their wardrobe. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us, Godson.
All right, thank you very much, Bukola. My name is Godiva Haruna. I'm a development professional, an entrepreneur, and also an investor. Our investment portfolio is around agriculture, animal production, and also crop production. We also touch around issues of food processing. So basically, we ensure that food items reach the relevant individuals and persons at the right time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I mean, we have two entrepreneurs with us today, and people vast and expert in this field. So I'll start with you, Mr. Godiva. Can you just provide an overview, a brief overview of the entrepreneurial landscape in Nigeria and why you feel as if it is unique compared to other African countries?
All right, thank you very much, Bukola. I'm therefore calling me to even start up this conversation. So the entrepreneurship landscape is a very unique one in Nigeria, if I can put it that way. Reason that due to the level of exposure in terms of the disruption caused by technology, and also the set of people that we have in this country in terms of the youth population, then also the creativity of young people in Nigeria specifically. You can see that the landscape is so wide, is so big, and it comes with a lot of challenges. But because we are innovating, we are creating, we are growing, so thereby it has provided a unique opportunity for different kinds of people. So entrepreneurship has grown beyond just owning a business. People are building different brands right now. You can see people in the creative space, you can see people in the agriculture, you can see people in tech, you can see people in just different fields, just making a living for themselves. So I'll just say that the landscape in Nigeria is very, very unique. It provides opportunity for different set of people, but of course it comes with challenges.
Of course. Thank you so much. I mean, then we just look at entrepreneurs as people that just what kind of small business. We don't look at them with that kind of, these are startups people, funders, these are entrepreneurs too. What do you have to say, Godson, from your head about the overview of entrepreneurial landscape in Nigeria?
All right, just like Godiva rightly said, like we have the landscape in Nigeria is very big, and generally, entrepreneurship is influenced by a lot of factors. We have economic development, technological advancement, then we have education. Then you check that anywhere these factors I just mentioned is in good measure, entrepreneurship thrives a lot. But then the absence of these factors, provides some challenges for entrepreneurs. Then for Nigeria, we've had a lot of challenges for entrepreneurs in Nigeria, ranging from lack of access to capital, power supply, but still at that, the entrepreneurship landscape in Nigeria provides some unique challenges. Like when we want to talk about the difference in Africa, why is unique for in Africa particularly. Talk about the big markets. We have over 200 million people. So if you are doing a business in this place, there are a lot of opportunities, access to big markets that you sell to. Then we also have the young population, like the young the large population of Nigerians are young people. Over 70% are below the age of 35. And the creativity, the energy, the resilience of these young people in different fields has actually made this place a very good place. So I think it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree with you with that young population, and the population of this nation is like a very, very key, unique thing that actually differentiates Nigeria from other African countries. Coming back to you again, Godson, I mean, you are an entrepreneur, and you mentioned in your introduction you have your own business. So, what was the challenges you faced when you wanted to start as an entrepreneur? When you wanted to start your business?
All right, thank you. The challenges were quite numerous. I'm just going to take time to list them. But then first, I'd like to see what inspired me first to become an entrepreneur. It was passion. I had passion for fashion while I was in school. Yeah, I had passion for African fashion particularly. So I looked up so many fashion designers who was around then, and I just wanted to, be like them. They inspired me a lot. So when I finished my first degree, while I was waiting for NYSC, I used that opportunity to go to the fashion school. So while in fashion school, I learned so many things, specifically for menswear, production of menswear. So I was in the process until my NYSC call-up came, so I went for NYSC. Then while in camp also, I started that process as well. So when I finished service, I was ready to start my own business, but there was no money. In fact, all the things that I needed to start my business, there was none. So raising capital was one of the major challenges that I faced. I tried to sign up for different loans as a corper, but then I was rejected. I think one of the loans that I was given was the micro credit loan by FCMB. They came to camp while we were in camp to tell us about the loan. So I was interested. The interest rate, according to them, was quite minimal and something that I could go on. But when I went to take the loan, there were a lot of challenges, protocols, and bottlenecks. And at the end of the day, I didn't end up getting the loan. The second one was also the CBN loan. So at the time, so I went through so many protocols, so many challenges, trying to get the loans. I filled forms, I signed up for these, I did some courses, did all these, and at the end of the day, my name was not actually among the yeah. So I felt that was a very big challenge. I was frustrated, I felt bad, I was depressed, but then I had to look inward and look at my network, look at family, what can I do? How do I start this business? Because I needed to start. So I have to leverage on what I have, my network, family, and then also the people that I already had. I built customers before then. So I could go get work from customers. Then I have places where I can go to produce because I didn't have machinery at the time. So my boss where I went to fashion school already gave me that freedom. So anytime I get this works, I go to this place to do that. So that was how I started. So before I was able to raise my own money to get some machineries to start. So it was quite challenging raising funds. And then when I started, another issue was power supply. What I do requires power supply, constant power supply. Then subsidy has not been removed. So petrol was still sold at below 200 naira. But then it was also a very big challenge at the time, running generator from morning to night because there is no power supply. So it was a very, very big challenge. And again, government taxes, yeah. So when you are in shop, this one shop permit, this resident permit, business permit, and different kind of people
permit for Nigeria.
Sorry, business permit actually. So different kind of things come, and it was so discouraging. And someone that is starting, those things were some of the big challenges that I faced starting out.
Oh wow! Like capital is always a big issue. If you agree with me, Goldin.
It is. While he was speaking, I was just trying to I was just laughing in my mind. Okay, so basically, so for me, rising from what he said, I quite agree with him. It's a challenge in Nigeria. I think another thing again, for me, when I was setting up my business, I actually started my business in 2019. Yeah, so why I started is that, okay, so we talk about passion, you can't fulfill passion without money.
True.
Yeah, so you want to change the world, you can't change the world without money.
Without money.
So you want to give back to society, you can't give back without
Without
money.
money.
So I now looked at it, what am I going to do? So I got some savings, and I felt, okay, I know that I've started a job, so what kind of business will give me time that I'll be doing what I'm doing? So I look at it, and then I venture into agriculture. So what we do is that we do most things that we do cut across food storage and then animal production. So for animal production, the first challenge I had was trust, because I was not there. I only come to check. So I needed somebody that I can trust, that can take care of whatever I need or whatever I have. So trust was the first thing, was the first challenge, to get that person that can be able to manage things for you. Then the second thing is that, of course, inflation was a problem. So things that were sold for like, let me say 10,000, 20,000 before, then it rose up. You know, the increase, and then it was a problem. So that leads to the issue of funding. So I didn't apply for any loan because I felt I'm going to build my organization or my company gradually. Why? Because I'm not a fan of loan. I don't like loan. Why? Because I feel it puts me under unnecessary pressure to pay back. Instead, I work with maybe family members to just raise up equity that I know that it's not maybe hold me. You understand? So basically, so the issue of trust was there, but I was able to get somebody that can manage it. And then the issue of inflation, things were very costly, but we were able to start. You know, so first of all, in terms of animal production, we started with a few number of cows, of goats, and the multiplication began. Yeah, so and that's how we move. Then also, when you talk about different kind of taxation, of course, for food storage, you need a storehouse. So a storehouse is not just a vacuum. So you still pay for those rentage, you pay for, so everything was just high, but we were able to navigate those things. And by the time we save up, we get maybe farm produce. Let's say, for instance, maybe pepper, onion, we keep for some months. And before you know, there is even maybe sometimes almost 200% we get from selling a particular measure. So that's how we get our money. We double up, and then we put back the money. All right. So the last part of my let me say my entrepreneurship journey, I would say, is savings and investment. So I belong to a cooperative where we pull money together. There's a particular business that is being run, and I get 10% of the amount I put every month. I know a bank cannot give you. So yeah, so I get the 10% of the money I put in. So we work together. We ensure that the business is running, and then at the end you find that every month you get the 10% of your money, and if you need your capital gets back to you, not Ponzi. All right, thank you very much.
Entrepreneurs are really trying, especially that capital. If you are not from that, should I say, a very, very rich background that your family can, sponsor you, or just one person in your family can, just give you that fund and the capital you need to start up. I mean, that is like the fuel to just start your car.
Yeah.
Without that fund, it's like no matter the idea you have, the plan, the strategy, nothing can literally work if you don't have that fund. And entrepreneurs are trying. I mean, kudos to the two of you, despite the challenges. Yeah, here we are.
Thank you.
Now back to you, Mr. Godiva. So I mean, Nigeria have a diverse sector from agriculture, the feed you have, the feed tech. So can you just highlight some kind of like improvement in these sectors that you think are actually gaining momentum in terms of innovation and growth?
Okay, thank you very much. So I think I'll begin with the agricultural sector. That's where I am. So it's not far-fetched, because there has been introduction of technology into what we do. Even seedlings now are not the usual seedlings that we use to plant. The use of fertilizers, the use of mechanized form of farming has also improved yield. Use of chemicals to ensure that there is growth, and also the processing. because one of the challenge of the agricultural sector is processing. For instance, I'll go to my village, and as I'm going to my village, I'll see fresh fruits. I'll see fresh tomato, and then when I come back to Abuja, I'll be struggling to take fresh tomato. You understand? I go to my village today, and then vegetable soup is just so fresh. But when I come to Abuja, it's a struggle. You find that the vegetable you are buying is so. I think there has been innovation that has helped to for food processing and that. Then the other sector I think I'm really passionate also about that has had improvement is the tech. You can see diverse forms of employment, job opportunities that is in the tech sector. So thereby you find that people now, some people are, I think they're data analysts, people are just different kind of things that even 2 years, 3 years ago, or 5 years ago, were not there. So I think there are various improvements in different areas of entrepreneurship. So I think I'll just leave it at these two space for now.
Yeah, thank you.
And to add to what Godiva said as well, so I think in the fashion industry, the creative industry, there has been a lot of improvement. Many years ago, African fashion was not really that fashionable, but currently you see people exhibiting African fashion everywhere. You see presidents and governors. I remember my governor, when the last immediate past governor of Abia State, he was a made in Aba ambassador. Everything he wears on international stage, national stage, everywhere, it's made in Aba product here. And if you come to Aba, you see a lot of innovation. There are a lot of goods that are produced here and being exported to China or to other part of the country. You know, Nigerians have this mentality of once it is made, locally made, it is not something that appeals to us. So what some people do is that they produce here, they export, then they bring it back.
Import it back.
The same
Aba.
made in Aba, yes. They import it back so that Nigerians can place value on it. So in that aspect, in the creative industry, particularly fashion industry, I think there has been a lot of improvement, a lot of creativity, a lot of new designs that has come out. Yeah, and then the fintech as well. In the last 5 years, there has been a lot of massive growth in the fintech industry. So you see a lot of fintech companies, you know, OPay is coming out, PalmPay, Flutterwave. They are doing amazing. And then with the recent signing into law, this Nigerian Startup Bill, there are even more opportunities for the fintech industries to explore. So I think there has been a lot of growth and innovation in the entrepreneurship landscape of Nigeria, despite the challenges that we face.
I want to say that so the fashion industry, they are playing with our emotions. They are exporting it, and then you find that they are playing with Nigerians.
It's actually because of the way Nigerians reason. I don't know, but for me, I think we should be proud of what is produced in our country. Like Aba is very skilled. In Aba, that's where I do business well. Aba fashion designers are very, very, very creative. There is nothing you don't see. Foreign suits, ties, shirts, wears, trousers, anything in any quantity you want. It is being produced excellently, just based on how you want it to be produced. So I feel we don't place value on things that are being produced here. So that's why you have to export them, bring it back for people to place value. And I think that's very bad. It's not supposed to be.
Yes, that's a big challenge.
Yeah,
That's waste. It leads to waste of resources.
Yes.
Because exporting and importing.
You're kind of like getting it twice a month that you should have just gotten it from your bar market.
Yes.
And when you raise the price, you know,
Now dollars, they're going to import it with dollars. Now they're exporting it naira, they import with dollars. Now their amount is like twice.
Yeah.
Wow. That's very sad.
Sure.
Very, very.
Sad.
Yeah, coming back to you, Godson, I mean, you mentioned the fact that at the beginning, it was fun, was one of the big issues that you faced. Also, you tried to apply to some loans company, which were not successful. So, what role do you think investors and capitalists plays in supporting startup in Nigeria? What kind of investment trend do you think is going on, or what do you feel should be done in that particular sector?
Okay, so I feel currently like it's obvious. There are a lot of young Nigerians that have a lot of startup ideas, business ideas. They are still in ideation because of funds. There are no funds to start up their businesses, and some of them don't have access to even some of these opportunities where you get to incubate and get funding to start their businesses. So investors plays a huge role, in driving entrepreneurship because like you said, funding is always a very, very, very big challenge. For every entrepreneur that you see, their stories is always about how they were able to overcome the challenges of funding. So I think that's where investors come in, to provide those funds, because we have the creativity. We have many young Nigerians that have very, very brilliant business ideas, but some of these ideas die at the ideation stage because there are no investors or there are no maybe access to working capital by the government or access to loans or interest-free loans, because starting a business is quite difficult, like operate the gestation period of a business is quite difficult. Aside from the funding to start, you also need operational funding, to maintain, to pay staffs, to run the business and all that. So if young entrepreneurs have access to loans or investors that invest in their businesses, that believe in the sustainability and the scalability of their businesses, I believe it's going to improve our economy, and it's also going to create more jobs. So I think this is where investors come in providing capital for young people to drive the business.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's very interesting point he just raised. So I agree that investors play a big role in the development and growth of startups, businesses, and even supporting entrepreneurs. Also government. So unfortunately, the country we find ourselves, it's a struggle for you to get loan, and then when it comes to grants, grants are usually free. It's not everybody that get the grant, so that's another challenge on its own. However, it's a big one if investors can invest in young people. We have series of investors in Nigeria. Banks are sponsoring different programs now. They go for pitching and ideas and all those things, and then they tend to do that. I think one of the banks, I don't want to mention the name of the bank on this call. Yeah, they do that. But another thing again, I think I want to put out there for entrepreneurs is that leverage on your capital, leverage on your network. Why I say so is because for me, I started my business, and apart from the equity, I ensure that I invest my money in such a way that it will double up. So by the time it doubles, it triples, I'm getting somewhere. So that way I have the sustainability money, funds that I can use for my business. So investors are there, but one thing you need to know as an entrepreneur is also competitive, right? Investors cannot invest and cannot fund everybody, right? Even governments, if government want to fund, they can't fund everybody. So you need to bank on your equity, you need to speak, you need to widen your network. Talk to people. You might be surprised that your friends have money that they are keeping. They're not using, and then you get those monies, get them together, and then you invest the money. But the role of investors is very, very critical also. So government, private individuals, institutions should encourage rather to invest in young people in Nigeria. Nigerians are very, very they are very, very, how do I call it, creative.
Yes.
Young people are very creative. They are just waiting for that support. They just needed that push, and then they are somewhere.
Yeah. I agree with you.
And in addition to what you said, like leveraging on your network, for me, my network was my way out, right? I like see there are a lot of competition going on. Like investors cannot fund everybody. I remember I have a friend, while we're living in NYC, he had designed a car, an engine that runs without that can run without fuel. Like it's an electric car engine. But then we went everywhere seeking for people that can support his ideas. I told him to write to his House of Parliament, which he did. There was nothing. I told him to write to the Ministry of Science and Technology because these are areas where the line of his business was a technology-driven business. But then there was nothing. And he started applying for international opportunities, and he got a call from Tokyo, from Japan, to come and pitch his business. Though funds were also a very big challenge for him to travel, to Okay, so he had to go back to the state, Benue State, and started farming, yeah, to raise business. So that business is still in his mind, still in addition, but then he's farming to raise some forms of capital, to start up that business. Yeah, so network, very, very, very important. That was my way out, like leverage my network to raise funds.
Uh, for me, I think the government should make a special fund for this kind of innovative ideas, because sincerely, even the normal loans fund, they say
Yeah.
the process to get this loan, the process, the documents, the filling of forms is crazy, and sometimes even your form might not even get submitted, or you would, most times you end up not even getting it after going through that process of going from your house to the bank, assuming it's microfinance loan that you are applying for, going there, coming back, filling, go to your bank, get your BVN. These are processes that literally every Nigerian knows, that when anything that relates to government or loans, these are like, these are the up and down you have to go to through, and
Right.
later.
Sorry, but the truth of the matter is that yes, we have those challenges in our system, but as an entrepreneur, you're supposed to be resilient. So I'm resilient not for the wrong reasons, but resilient for the right reasons. There are some things that you cannot get until you push for. I remember when some time ago when the government of Nigeria decided to give loan through the NISA loan, something. Many people saw, they say, this is a scam. But people got loans, people got money, and some people use it for business, right? So sometimes some of these things will come like this, but it's just for you as an entrepreneur to be very, very sensitive to understand what is really going on, what should I do part-time, what do I need to do to stand out amongst those people that we are applying together, all right? So all those things will lead you to being able to get, so position yourself. Yes, there are challenges, but what is success without challenges?
But success without challenges. An entrepreneur seems to be resilient, true. Although Nigeria is very, very frustrated when it comes to its policy. Coming to policy and government, back to the Godson.
Yeah.
So, what are the policies that you think the government can do to make the environment more conducive for entrepreneurs, and what changes you want to see in that aspect?
All right, thank you very much. So on the area of government policy and how it affects entrepreneurs, I think this is the key, right? Because once that conducive environment is not there, it's very, very difficult for entrepreneurs. Like, it stifles the development of entrepreneurship in the country. In Nigeria, there has been a lot of improvement in trying to create enabling environment, ease of doing business, producing soft loans, and grants as well. Even though there are a lot of corruptions around this area, sometimes people that get these things are not the right people. It's actually people that have people in the systems to put their pencils on. They have ghosts, even ghost people that receive those money. So for the policy that I think Nigerians need to put in place, I think power, energy is the key for manufacturing industries and productions as well. Almost every entrepreneur needs power to run their businesses, right? But then when the power is not stable and the cost of fuel it's very high, it's very, very, very difficult for entrepreneurs. For instance, when the president announced the removal of fuel subsidy on July 29th this year, it was very difficult for me and for my colleagues as well, people that are in the same business with me. I know a lot of people folded up and started looking for something else to do because there's a 200 or 300% increase, in the price of fuel. And for someone that needs power every day and you don't have light, the electricity people don't, there's no light anywhere. You need to run your generator every day, and the cost of buying fuel has increased. Now customers want you to still maintain the same price, right? Now you are in a situation where you either have to keep the old price to keep your customers, and then you keep losing because the price of operation has gone high, or you start looking for new markets. And the situation where you can access new markets for people that can, afford because of the inflation that's gone up, it's a very big challenge. Either you have to fold up or you continue to run business where you don't even make profit. So these were some of the challenges that I had. So I had to start looking for new markets. I had to start looking for new places. So that's an effect of government policy. Another one is also on taxation. Um, for people that are doing business in most places in Nigeria, there is always this heavy taxation. Like I said before, if it's not business permit, it is working permit, it is this one, this one, this one. You see different set of people come every day to harass you, to lock your office because you've not paid this money. And those money are outrageous amounts. You pay, they certify you, before you know it, they come again. So for beginners, it's frustrating for them. If you don't have such money, it might force you. Sometimes they lock your businesses, they even seize some of your equipment or other things, and that can discourage so I feel government should remove all the bureaucratic bottlenecks for entrepreneurs, because this is what contributes to our economic development. SMEs, yeah, contribute to the rate of high employment in Nigeria. A lot of people that are employed are actually employed by small and medium scale enterprises. So I feel government should make policies around energy. Okay, I think I'm impressed with the recent policy of removing electricity from the exclusive list. It's now in concurrent list. So states can now generate, transmit, and distribute their own electricity. So it's now time for state governors and executives to actually think critically and come up with solutions to provide power and electricity for the entrepreneurs. Yes, so in area of power, very, very critical. Then taxation also very, very critical. Then access to capital, soft loans. I think this is area government should invest heavily, to support entrepreneurs that are coming up, that have ideas. If these policies are put in place and implemented the way it should, I believe Nigeria is a great place because we have the big markets. Our economy will actually thrive.
We thrive. Thank you so much for that. So, Nigeria has the population, and we have the large youth population. How do you think this is contributing to the economic development in the nation, and what is the unique opportunity that this large population brings?
Okay, so Nigeria, well, let's talk about our youthful population. One thing we don't pay attention is that a youthful population that is not properly utilized is a cause. Yeah, so but we don't pay attention to that. We always talk about we are youthful, we are large, we are all these things, but we don't pay attention to these people. Record has shown it. Go back to your research, you find out that many of these young people are underemployed. Many of these people are unemployable. These are two different set of people. Underemployed, unemployable. Unemployable is that they are there, but they don't have the capacity to fit into roles and responsibilities. For instance, you are looking for somebody in tech, and the only thing that person knows, the person that is available does not even have the skill to work in tech. So what do you have? And it's part of the population, all right? So I would just say that yes, our population is a unique opportunity, right? But we need to be intentional about using this population for the right reasons, engaging this population productively, all right? And it will start from our schools. I did entrepreneurship in school. I can't remember using that course to do anything. I just did it and passed, right? Because we were speaking English. But when I came out, that's when I saw business. I saw how to sell. I saw how to on the streets. That's where I learned it, right? So we have a unique opportunity in terms of our population because it produces a market that we can sell products, people can innovate, people can create, but we need to engage them well. We need to train them well. Are we training these people in the relevant skills? All right, not training them in such a way that they will struggle to meet up to this. We are doing automation. How many of our young people are learning automation? Just few, right? So those are some of the challenges. So it provides a unique opportunity, but we need to intentionally tap that opportunity. If not, the population is just, it will be a problem. It will be a problem, and I think that's one of the problems. That's how we have the issue of this different restiveness by youth. People are attributing some of this youth bulge to even people that engage in insecurity activities, Boko Haram and the likes, because of people are not, they are idle. Some of them are unemployable, and they need to feed. So they get into many things, all right? So I'll say it's a unique opportunity for us to have youth, to have a large population, but we need to intentionally engage them so they can become employed and employable.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and to me as well, whenever I think about the youthful population of Nigeria, I always think about the year 2050. The United Nations say by 2050 Nigeria is estimated to be 400 million people, and 70% of this population are going to be under the age of 30 years, right? Now, I think about 400 million people without the proper education, without access to the right information that changes minds and actually inspires people to be productive to our economy. What is it going to be for us? Is it going to be a very big threat for us? So, like you rightly say, this population can either be a threat to us or a force that will drive our economic development. But for it to drive our economic development, it has to be based on what kind of education are we giving our young people. Like you rightly say, all of us, we did that entrepreneurship in school, but it was just to pass because it was not, we didn't do it because we wanted to imbibe those entrepreneurial skills that will help you to go out there and succeed and thrive as an entrepreneur. We just did it as one of those normal calls to pass and you go. Last year, I was part of Future Africa Fellowship among the two Nigerians selected. And then during our final year project, we were given assignments to produce a policy proposal on education, employability, and entrepreneurship. And we used Nigeria as a case study because I was the leader of that project. So we used Nigeria as a case study. So when we started making researches about educational systems, curriculum, because education is directly connected to entrepreneurship. You have the right educations that are actually imbibed with skills, then you know that we're going to have very successful entrepreneurs. What drives developing economies or producing economies is classroom theories. What are you learning in classrooms? What are the kind of skills that are being taught? Are you being taught skills, managerial skills, organizational skills that helps you to go out there, start up a business and try? We don't see those things in Nigeria. So while we're trying to make that policy proposal, we looked at our curriculum, we looked at capacity building for teachers and also for young people, and we tried to mainstream a kind of education that is driven by skills. Like while you are studying whatever course you are studying, it becomes compulsory all through. It won't just be something you do. I think my entrepreneurship, because I did it in second year and final year or something. So, but this one is an integral part of your course. You have to do it from day one, day two, and you have to take practicals. You have to, practicalize what you do. So these were some of the things that we mainstream in that policy document because we saw it was a very, very, very big problem for us. So for our youthful population, it's depending on how we choose to skill the population. That's when it's going to be like drive our economy. But if we still go the way we are going, our education system, it's still the way it is. It does not, we don't actually review it for it to meet the demands of the future. Then I'm not seeing the potential for this youthful population to drive our economy. And for opportunities, technology and globalization has actually provided a lot of opportunities for us. Because with your phones, you can do a lot of things. So tech has provided a lot of opportunities for young Nigerians to be entrepreneurs and also to drive.
Yeah, true. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying with us up to now. I mean, we have come to the end of the show, but before I officially end this episode, I just want a last question for my two guests, and then we will be done with this particular episode. Starting with you, Godson. So quickly, just briefly, you can just give us one or two changes you wish to see that will help entrepreneurs more to be creative and bet their ideas. Maybe from the government, maybe from investor. Just give us two punchlines, and that will move to Godiva.
Okay, for me, I think still policy. I need to see changes in power system. Then secondly, in double taxations, like I said, too. If we see changes in those areas, it's really going to help entrepreneurs improve.
Thank you so much. And you?
All right, so for me, I'll say I want to see changes in three areas. One is the entrepreneurs. So, for instance, entrepreneurs, expose yourself to mentorship. Expose yourself to mentorship, expose yourself to people that you might be able to get access to capital and different things. So, for instance, where I work, there's this program we call the Social Innovators Program. So, the Social Innovators Program, SIP, is for young people. Young people that have ideas that are running their business, social enterprise. So it's an opportunity for them to get access to different mentors, different teachings, learnings. So by the time they get on board, they get selected for the program, they get access to those people, and you find that through those people you get insight, knowledge, and even access to opportunities, especially for funding and the likes. Then for the areas of investors, I would say for investors, I wish individuals or organizations, whether in Nigeria or abroad, to invest more in Nigeria. Before coming here, I was reading a report by Business Day. I think it was reported in July, where foreign direct investment has reduced. So if even foreign agencies can also invest in what we do. I know the environment is not really conducive, but don't wait for the gold. Polish the gold. All right. Don't just wait for the gold. It's not a finished person that you're looking for. Look for that person and then invest in the person. Then lastly, I would say government. The Nigerian government, we can't do anything without government. So the government is supposed to do an enabling environment. All right. So such as power that he has mentioned, such as road. When there is no road, there will be problem. And then also the government needs to invest more in her people so that our GDP can grow. So GDP is our gross domestic product. And how do you get your GDP? Is by what the people are putting out. All right. So the reason why we are having our value added tax is increasing. Look at it now. If you go to buy something now, you can see the amount of tax that you're removing for, even for food items and the likes. So those things can be discouraging. So government needs to invest more in our people so that our people can be more productive. So it talks about investing in education, investing in power, investing in agriculture in the Western world or in outside countries. People that are farmers and rich men, they are people that are making money.
The opposite is in this.
The opposite. So if you're a farmer in Nigeria, you're a poor person. All right. So invest more in agriculture because without food, all of us are dead.
Yeah.
All right. So invest more in agriculture. So we have the government, we have the investors, and we have the entrepreneurs. Everybody hands must be on deck.
Everybody else must be on deck. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to our two guests. Thank you so much, Godiva. Thank you so much, Godson, for joining us on this episode. And to our online viewers, thank you for staying with us up to now. We've come to the end of this episode. See you again next week. Bye.